Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Mountain Phoenix, and today we're going to continue some more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and I would like to apologize again for the little technical difficulties, but we should be good now.
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. I presume you heard the Defense Counsel's summarization examination?
Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. and Mr. Shulkin.
God blimey!
This is going to be hard work. Earlier in the trial, you gave the following testimony in your actions when you entered Windibanks. Well, it was bedlam soon as, wasn't it? It was, Nash, it was. They didn't even have time to pull me dookies out of me Lucy lockets. However, that was a lie. You brothers.
God blimey!
On the night of question, you rifled through the items in the victim's counter. We don't do something I don't know. How do you figure that out?
You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. And this time, you will tell the truth.
Each lie you pass your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal the crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought we're pondering, perhaps. Say no, Buckle Guff, we blah, we squeak, we peach! Oh boy. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't ruffling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying. Blimey, it was half giving a fright. We were thinking it should have come out to the door and get us next. We stuck everything back when we found it and scrubbed straight into him in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbrokers here. We never even had a chance, did we?
So you admitted the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Winneback's countertop on the night of question.
Not ransack, Governor, no. Not right, Nash, not right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah. Ugh, sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbroker under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled from hearing the gunshot here, having first made good their mess. Now why you said it, we hardly have sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can I make him sound a bit more cutthroat? It just can't be a coincidence that these two men showed up at Windibanks that night. There's more to the testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all the things off the counter? Well, to shock one of us, yeah, her bag of nerves had to keep her shirt on. Look, it wasn't loud alright, blimey, Deep Grammy couldn't have woken up with that bang. Big bro here screamed like a blooming baby, fell over on the counter. He knocked him over little bugs, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. I'm gonna take it over some man now, one. Oh, throw it up. Your picture frame, walk on your skills on the floor. You really messed her working quietly then. What a racket! Miss Granny would have scared back in her grave like a clacker like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then so, he was crying like a mouse, and then all of a sudden, BAM! Oh.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't like being blunt with these scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony. You see the reactions now on what Mr. Shulkin said. Did it make you think of something? And probably nothing, of course. It wouldn't even bother to mention it, only... Well, the fact is, case don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellas in the yard for questioning last night, and the statement they gave them told a slightly different story than what they're saying now. Did it? You claim you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, Guff, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling that perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, hey fellas?
If I discover the witness testimony has been any more sloppy than it has been Hinder's proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the harshest punishment to bear against them.
Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously entered your questionable mind, sirs. Right you are, Guff. What's going on? So we heard a voice now. Give me that gun.
Objection.
So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winnebank, was wielding a gun, is that correct? That it, Gov? You got the picture. He is, Nash, he is, no question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winnebank was not holding a firearm of any description. Ah, you what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right!
Objection!
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Winneback's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accuser's hand. Yeah, that moldless tool used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are, right there. Eh? If the crime had taken place as you colorfully describing your testimony, it would rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, Counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments?
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim that they have They claim to have heard a shout of give me that gun," followed by a gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we are led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that in the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind.
Ah,
So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency with your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Shulkin. But it's the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. What he was shot that night. The shopkeeper had a gun in his hand and he was shot with their own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windenbank holding a gun? Something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you all just heard the admission of these two witnesses. That on the night in question they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony of the contrary, the Shulkin brothers may have encountered the victim in person. Oh! Nash? Order! Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to, It would seem that my previous warning fell in deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witnesses would be the death of you.
am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of the original testimony with renewed lies?
Ever so slightly, Governor. Truth is, Cut it out, Nash, cut it out! If we blind now, you know what he'll do to us. He? What are they talking about? Let me make your position clear. Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up. But we don't have our guest garters. In case it hasn't sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the preceding circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Well, do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Alright, so we did have inside a gaff in his head, and a several release on the geezer stole his mug. Give me that gun here, Blando, and then he blew us like he was possessed. I thought we had it. For an old geezer, that bloke was strong as an ox. He knocked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged and flew to the door of the back room. We don't have nothing to do with killing him. Now, after what had happened, I swear. So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storage room, you in fact encountered her in the main part of the shop? Well, yes, sorry.
Well, we find ourselves in an interesting conjuncture, and this changed matters considerably.
But be honest, Governor, this time we got nothing more to hide.
Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for.
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it? Nothing at all! Nothing good, nothing. No, Geecher went and shut us up in the bag, didn't he? Locked it was from the inside. We know it was, because we tried to open it. But it was a decent door that wasn't good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storage room with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gia Lestrade.
Ah! It would indeed appear so. What says you to that, counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart of Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Winnebeck? Mr. and Mr. Shulkin.
What?
What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. It did? What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Winnebank? And it's the brief of the defense that the defendant is not only the possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storage room, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to that question who could have shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now provide answer to the court in respect to the two conundrums.
Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe?
Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Bruno? I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If we can prove there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court in the plan the answer to that question is posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indeed for where that person could have fired the gun, the defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And the answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storage room. Continue. Mr. Winnebank died instantly from the bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood in the storage room floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storage room. However, the crucial point is, where is the shooter where the fatal bullet was fired?
So you were adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storage room?
Well, according to the Shulkin brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled my gun on him and he laid on it through the door in the back room. If Mr. Winnebank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Oh!
It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storage room. Come to think of it, you do remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report indicated the bullet entered the body on the rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Ah, of course! He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it could still enter his body from the upward trajectory. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Winnebank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't be forgotten. that the storage room door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But... What if someone else locked the door? Yes, there was someone else who could have locked the storage room door. Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense assertion that the victim was shot from outside the storage room. In which case, who shot and locked the storage room door from the inside?
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storage room at the time. The defendant, Miss Gia Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd.
You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions could only serve to tighten the noose around her neck.
I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
Yes, that's a tricky one, that isn't it?
Half-diagnoses have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course Jeannie wouldn't lock the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does? Well, if I was Jeannie in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Mr. Lestrade and Mr. Winnebank were in the storage room together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Winnebank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storage room. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, that will leave the accused alone in the storage room. Yes, it would. Then, possibly only moments later, the victim fled back into the storage room door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by a bullet, Mr. Winnebank fell to the floor when he was just inside the storage room. And what do we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in the moment? Oh, I see where you're going with this. Outside the storage room was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Winnebank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't done. We ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one.
Objection!
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Shulkin, you brothers have every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Winnebank's murder. Where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't a pickpocket or something, pawnbroker after all? I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shitty as a dense force. That was amazing, Bruno! All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. I know, first time ever and probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely you have a verdict of not. And I don't know what friend, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing?
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks? I myself find the defense argument was persistent.
I dare say. Such chisery in the bread and butter as the street performers of your critical Eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks among the nothing more than inexcusable perfectfoggery here. What? The hypothesis you put forth so absolutely credibly cannot and will not stand. Because you see it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic failing?
I say, Lord Van Zeeks, might be an idea to explain this baldy conjecture trick or whatever it is that troops on the ground
The fatal flaw in my little friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you are not as dim-witted to count bullets.
By George, count bullets!
Oh dear. He's noticed then. Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir? Tell the court how many bullets were found in the scene of the crime. Two. 2 bullets. Correct. The first, that which they victim in the back ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed. The defense present the picture knowing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appeared to have passed through the body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Winnebank, and the Shulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you find
That the single bullet that was fired from the brothers had gotten Mr. Sholmes, it means...
when you make not shot by the same gun, stop. Only 1 bullet, stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nippony street performer presents a ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Ugh!
Wah! Order!
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hollow nectar into the public gallery.
Lord Van Zeeks?
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gia Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She is past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond, it is printed to duplicate her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. That disc! I'll be taking out whatever it is may get it down in the yard, man. Thank you very much. No, don't give it him. That's mine, isn't it mine? I'm sorry, Mish. But anything belonging to McGilda has to be taken into evidence now. Yes, that music box disc. McGilda's music box disc. The very day before the fateful murder of Mr. Winnebank. The accused attempted to make up with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And when none of the pickpocket on my head, but by brute force and brazen pedantry.
Good gracious!
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused accounted for years of misguided and dangerous. These are no depths to which the girl would not stoop and push, no crime she could not commit. The court forgets its past as its peril.
I see. I think it would be pertinent to take these music box discs as evidence, counsel. As a grim testament of the defendant's character.
Lord Ramsey, Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecuting service, and, I think it was agreed that this wouldn't be used as evidence. What's this all about? Why is the Inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all. I am unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were interested. Inspector, I am the prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed, bailiff.
The prosecution has established the accuser's motive, opportunity, and baseless of character. There is nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once and for all of 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno.
My lord. Wonder if I may something. Wonder if I say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. It's something about a bit of a fog up to now, the truth be told, but all of a sudden.
Yes, there's bowling always in me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh no.
Very well, the court will hear for the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your learning to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
We have economists among the jury, it seems.
When you eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. Oh, how dare you use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't show Mr. Winterberg that's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summarization examination of today. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready?
Gearback Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
Once a rogue, always a rogue, I said. Different breed of all law-abiding citizens. There's only 2 bullets were found in the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was a pickpocket.
Oh, I never imagined that simple operation cost me such grief.
The accuser tested that on the previous day. I can see it on the busy day ahead.
I am ballistic expert. I see many shootings. There is nothing more I do not know about guns.
It would seem there is little remaining room for doubt.
I have to admit, I was rather bold with the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when I fall upon her house of cards, I shall I jolly well be hoodwinked. Well, no more. Ugh, the whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
The prosecutor's being mean. And just because Jeannie's done some things he shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer.
Allow me to savor this fruitly bridges while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
That's enough for metal. Counsel, proceed with the summarization examination.
Yes, my lord. Before we do that, let's examine the music box.
Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood!
Yes, you're right. It's a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
And it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever.
Right, hold still with that disc for now. Can we get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash. Oh, it lovely bright shade again.
Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, isn't it? Alright, there we go. Now let's proceed with the summarization examination.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say it was nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet has simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite expectable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Herich? No. Herach? No. Herlock?
Herlock Sholmes by any chance?
Yes, good lord. It was the Herlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques on my ad. It was a very major up, I tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he's been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides and the fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I have to throw up my hands to stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but
Yes?
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
Counsel, the defense is correct. As I clearly shown in this photographic print,
That bullet that the Shulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him with the stomach region, then exited his body and launched into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it really simple that you consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Huh, who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about as best I can do.
As soon as I saw the bullet in the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake. Are you saying you checked his back?
Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion is that the bullet was still somewhere in this man's innards, which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. And I'm still not the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can anyone please solve this mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict the idea of to pit jurors against each other.
Oh, a ballistic expert!
Pitting. P-I-T-T. On the night of question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Shulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of the exit wound on his back, we must assume that bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet that was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello. Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction of the fact that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situations in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold.
Golly!
And snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I hear from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of cut you say exit wound.
Then where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. I make deep wound that looks just like bullet wound.
Good gracious!
Of course, piece of ice quickly melt inside me, and that is solution to mystery of dissipating bullet.
But that doesn't answer my question at all!
Hmm?
The shooting happened at a pawnbroker shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country!
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
No. Where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach, sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears his little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, the pouch. It's where he keeps 3-class pills of very dangerous chemicals that he used in investigations.
What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that in his person when we arrived at the hospital as far as I remember.
If I may. Lord Van Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to inject during the summarization examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber inside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived at the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to access the wound.
Oh, thank goodness! Thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been on my safekeeping along with all the other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during the summarization examination, I must demand the prosecution present his item in question with all speed. Bring forward Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes at the night in question, isn't it?
Look at that! One of the pistols is broken and leather around his scorched blank. It's almost as if the plitula exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Shokin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass panel exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate the victim, but it was deflected into a wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The Boltling and Berkeley brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pendulum facts of the case remain unaltered. Ugh.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Da. Thank you very much. Glad I could help.
Due to this bearing on the conjunction just solved, the court will express to the costly pulpus evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Now, the summarization examination.
We gotta examine that immediately. It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strap is broken, look.
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken pencil was. Do you see it?
Ah! That's the Shokin brothers' bullet.
What a stroke of luck that is in his hidden pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Mr. Winnebanks that night.
We found exactly what that juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. Perfect.
It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion,
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. You'll still have ways to turn this around somehow. I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced?
Only 2 bullets was fired and 2 guns were fired and may be examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many I invited for dinner, I was telling her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crookery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like to find china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere in which we were unaware, I would to reconsider my position.
Third bullet somewhere in the scene? Could that be possible? Yes, I can prove it. Allow me to show you then the third bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question at Winnipeg's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery you Nipponese conjecture? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? His pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Shogun brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has summarized, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Oh!
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Winterbanks and that belonging to the Shogun brothers.
An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet has been fired from each.
Ah,
But
that must mean...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene, and until the inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Hold on. While this summarization examination remains incomplete, the court must be presented with new facts. Facts that will appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As in my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summarization examination.
By Jupiter!
What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Witnesses,
Governor!
were you listening to the proceedings while the defense carried out the summarization examination?
We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with this tedious permatal and simply answer this one question. The third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make up it, Gov. No, I mean, nothing to help him.
Is this one of yours?
Come by me, not a chance.
In that case, do you have an accomplice?
What? What? Never! The Shogun brothers work alone. It's just a 2 of us, it's a trademark.
How soon can we forget poor Shoki? Only 2 of the bullets from that crime scene originated from the firearms we have as evidence. The third bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it?
Lumley, that's an head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense.
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding the new developments. The third bullet and the mysterious missing firearm from where it came.
Looking back over the testimony we heard and all the evidence we see, I think it's starting to form a picture of what really happened at night. My lord, I think it's clear that the third bullet tells us about the Shogun brothers. On the night of Winnipeg's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man.
The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of the accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there's someone else present, someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
An accomplice, you say? Picks well. These protective proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summarization examinations. Yet in all that time there has been not a murmur of a third man. It is apparently Wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. Ugh. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence, that the accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this racist character. Sulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel,
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So my Lebanese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promised to be interesting. I have to push forward. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference.
in that case, counsel, I would like to ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night of question, and the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof do you have there was a third intruder present at the scene?
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove, the portfolio again, isn't it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through the papers itself? Just be more specific. You're claiming one of the blood samples provide the presence of the third intruder? Well, which one is it?
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar.
That's a bloodstain, my lord.
A bloodstain?
Green blood. Curious even for you. Is this court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
By the great detective! New invention, stop, your Puritan story, stop. It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fucker sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements of people's blood and changes color.
Different elements of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up in different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in the flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension by looking at blood. Talking blood, a courtroom stop, very exciting stop.
As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Winnebank.
Oh, striking blue.
Yes, so you see this green color of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that someone else was shot in the main part of the shop.
No, Friday, Shanu.
It could be some unrelated incident, could it? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date at which Mr. Winnebank was killed.
By God!
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
And whose blood is it?
Well, the Shokin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is the alleged third intruder?
Take that!
The man's name is Edgar Benedict.
Edgar Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, counsel?
He paid a visit to Mr. Winnebank's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place, when the accused attempted to see the pawnbroker into releasing this article in her possession. That's right. The man identified in the defense, Mr. Edgar Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defense by force.
Broca! Yes, sir?
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you rascal, and needless to say, any music box disc too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord, there's more or less what happened. In the interest of being through, I asked Winnebago for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-handed recording components. Yes, that's it, talking to Mr. Winnebago that morning.
And you claim this man to be the brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. Shokin? Never seen a geezer before in my life. I mean live, never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. And show us the evidence. I agree, we must see proof of the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph as the filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming in the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court and counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present its evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photograph of prey was, in fact, the person struck by the third bullet.
Take that!
That proof is right here in this portfolio.
Good gracious, counsel. Does the portfolio contain the answers to every question posed?
I see you share my interest in clear-colored liquids, my Nipponese friend, but... enough. The court demands to see further evidence. Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime?
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted decisively a minute late to reclaim the disc from Winnebago's.
Which was when the aforementioned Edgar Benedict appeared at the scene, I believe. The man then attempted to purloin the article from the defense's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that the minor incident occurred.
But of course, sir, here's the disc for you.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You drawn blood, or you filthy animal?
Being a music box disc, it contains small but sharp metal perculations over the surface. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Goodness, a bloodstain, is it?
My assistant and I just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom. Using my trusty fogger gun. Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. Oh, sir! It's green! It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Edgar Benedict, who was at Winnebago's earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that Saturday night. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now, they're sweating bullets. Oi, what are you talking about? It's boiling in here. My lord,
It is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Edgar Benedict should be summoned into the courtroom and testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore the gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone for long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I heard that name. The protagonist of the series of short stories of the vulgar class. A god of detection of such. And now you employ a chemical substance devised by this fanatical persona of the highest court of the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything is not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here she has successfully provided that no other blood in the world can turn the same color. Well... And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Ugh! Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' corrosion a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't get away with that. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summarization examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief, what did you just say, young girl?
In the summarization examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues isn't in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right.
Young lady, you have quite a devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced of what you say, Renault. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After the screwy person of the situation of the entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summarization examination has yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you and your final learnings of this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will all come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decision in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
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 Not guilty.
Two called guilty, and 4 called not guilty. Such is our claim at summarization examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refused to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked corrosion and deceived by the pretender of real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
I'm sorry, Lord Manzix, but the outcome of the summarization examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
Got him.
Nevertheless, we found ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested a subpoena of the new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What?
The name of this gentleman gave for himself, Edgar Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Because when did I manage to prove this man that was there that night?
Could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5?
What have you to say, ma'am?
Impossible. Inspector,
Me, ma'am?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print for me again, the one in which the gentleman was shown? Ah, right, yes. This one you mean, Mr. Benedict? Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Chair number 5? You don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him. What? No.
Good gracious! Order! 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 Chair number 5, how on earth?
I'm a communications officer. Stop.
As we can clearly see,
The gentleman in this photograph report is stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works at my office. Stop. A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communications station now. Stop. Type away in his telegraph. Stop.
this doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we can imagine the accomplice will be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out he has a respectable job by day, whatever he goes up at to at night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If this gentleman is London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within an hour. Lord Ramses, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary measures with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson,
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events of the pawnbroker the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Ooh. Let's do this. Tina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Teeny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything?
What's the point, eh? I go all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me.
What?
Are you shy of that picture? What picture?
Ah, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's right-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think you would have captured the scene like this, that's for sure.
It's hopeless. Anyone sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend I wasn't a bit of shock when the prosecutors first presented to the court. Surely you have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can.
Teeny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what exactly happened that night.
Huh?
Reynolds cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear from you.
Alright then. It was after we had our dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we ought to chat up at your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep, so I slipped out and went down the street to the 201 to Winterbeck's place. I had to know. If Iris' story is there now, the Hounds of the Baskervilles. I don't know what's about her, nothing. But if you ask me, there's something that shows I don't like. Something what he don't want people written. But that's why he lied to Iris about sticking his long big with the Winterbecks for seatkeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Winterbeck's? I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea it was gonna kick off, didn't I? I stuck a lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave an oil lamp and a counter a bit of wick, and that's when...
What do you think you're doing? Ugh!
I nearly died, I did. And next thing I knew... I grabbed a gun over the counter and was waving in the air like I don't know what.
Oh, you're the girl who was here, the yes officer joked. I didn't think pickpocket went in for armed robbery.
A manuscript. And you got it here? Did Sean leave a load of papers with you? Story?
I beg your pardon?
The hound's up to something or another. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I shouldn't die that relinquished an article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. Well, I'm not doing it anyway. I just want to see if it's there, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, don't you?
I want to know if Sean's really pawned in here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
So the old coal unlocked the storage room door and we both went inside. And it was there alright, the manual script. Sean's were in line after all. You did all that just to check for me, Jeannie? Anyway, and there was a bit of a kick-up in the bait of the shop. The Sulkin brothers arriving at the scene, yes. What was that noise? Someone breaking in.
Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me, sorry.
I better go and take care of it. Can I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I'll come with you, Ed.
Now don't be foolish on the girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took up with his gun and offered me and walked back to the shop. I talked back to the storage room like he said straight me here into the dark with hear what was going on. It sounded like they got a bit of a scrap, so I started to think I could help she. So I was just about to go out of the storage room myself when... I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there was, right in front of my feet, lying face down on the floor. He was right next to the storage room door, so I slammed it shut and locked inside quick as you like. Because you thought whoever I shot Mr. Winnipeg might come for you? Yeah, so I went and grabbed the old cook's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. When I got the better look of him, I knew. Winnipeg was a goner. I felt funny in me. I felt funny in me head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I had known what I'd done, the old Cole might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but I didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. You'll be alright, Jeannie, don't worry, just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put a real culprit into the mill. That call was in there in the afternoon. That Eggard Benedict. I still remember how he looked at me, like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You're leaving all the Renault's capable heads now, Jeannie. Mr. Naruhito. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill did. We told you the whole pack of lies. And you got a block off with him. Even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh, I did what I thought it was best at the time, but the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I made you a promise. I told you that I'll be on your side of the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could possibly be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one was going to believe it wasn't me who done it.
Oh no.
But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me and I'll do the rest. I was so happy, I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me, not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first.
What are you saying?
I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down.
You know I'm a diver and a no good liar?
You're not like McGilden. I know that.
That's right, you're a friend, Genie.
Iris. We know you better than you think. And we come to the conclusion that you're someone we could trust.
Yes,
That's really all we need to know.
exactly. Mr. Naruhodo, I...
Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head back to the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you. I'm both a defendant and a defending lawyer at the time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting in all their faith in you. This is at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me not, Susato-san, and I hope you're watching over me too, partner.
I hereby call the order to resume the trial of Miss Lisa Lestrade. Lord Menzies, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communications agent with the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Greg's
Presence of this case heard by the court this morning.
The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untimed methods to be used in the evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me, a very big mistake.
My lord, the subpoena witness has just arrived in the building.
Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Edgar Benedict. And I expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord. As an upstanding member of London society, it's my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer.
Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communication Station.
Now perhaps somebody will kindly explain what all this is about. You were surprised of the situation by the court's officer by your way here, Mr. Presume?
Yes, I was.
Something to do with the murder that took place at the pawnbrokers at Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know.
Very well. Without further delay, the court would like to hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusations made against you under oath.
Gladly, my lord. Gladly. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbrokers opens from time to time. But you surely should not colluded with these thugs to break into the place when the night of the murder. I have no intention of making such an outrageous accusation, even as certain parties were present claiming that my blood was found at the scene. Some scrupulous detective's homebrew texture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
So you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say I am dismayed by the highest court of the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury will be upheld. Then I should say that we have a misfortune of the most inspect assembly of jurors today. By golly! How long am I expected to be detained here?
If, on the defense cross-examination, your involvement in the matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then I shall be away at time for afternoon tea.
Let us not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So we meet again, Mr. Edgar Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies, you are... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So... I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding your flashy how will I do. Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholm's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But am I not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholm's chemical is able to... Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character anyways? Oh, I assume all Londoners will know the name. He's a a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective. A great detective, you say? No, we're on the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Hey. Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Shulkin? What? Me? No, the Mr. Shulkin next to you. Right hand over there. How many times I gotta tell you? Yes, I know, you're not big bruv sulky. Mr. Nash Sulkin. Eh? Oh, blimey, governor. You what? Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Eh? We does? Oh, no, it must have been him. You what? Mr. Nash Shulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking. And me waging me arm like that much more open up in the womb again, that's all. What womb? Where you took the bullet, of course. It's only 2 days ago. I ain't gonna be shielded up yet. So I was, well, you know, it was worrying for him, and... Oh, hell's bells. Mr. Graydon, do you hear that? What? Your comrade was worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm. My lord?
Yes, Mr. Graydon?
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I wouldn't expect to answer anything relating to their mindless situations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by the bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. On the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person is likely in the upper arm as whereabouts. Perhaps you allowed the court official to examine your arm, sir? The left arm you're currently grasping your right hand as if in pain? No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I already said, I am completely uninvolved in all this. I never had anything to do with the pawnbroker where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense to the insinuation that I was in my way involved.
You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winneback's pawnbrokery?
My lord, the defense would like the last statement to be added to the Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Hold it!
Never had anything to do with it? You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for the armchair to furnish my study.
Objection!
No, you were there to reclaim an article. I have no idea what you're talking
Is
about.
that right? Excuse me!
Do you have something to add, Inspector? Eh? Come again, Sunshine? You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon. Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourselves in the pawnbroker that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, I recall. And at that time, the witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article. Well now. I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly. What? But you must! I'm not gonna lie and pretend I remember something I don't. What's going on here? Gracie showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed the Winnebanks. Yes, of course. Indeed, the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say. Exactly, which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop the very afternoon in question. At no point I denied that fact. I merely entered the shop to pursue the articles and sale, have a word with the broker. Nothing more. This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Grexit be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it? What do you think, Reno? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that unless he says, the less chance he's giving himself away.
Complete opposite Hurley then. He seems to be thinking more or less he's better. Well, at least I managed to pry a little more information with these two witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Shulkin brothers. Yes, they were the key to it after all. So he says he has nothing to do with Winnebags. Well, we know that's not true. Now perhaps would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea, you never know when tiny scrap of information will become a valuable weapon.
Objection!
Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? Is this supposed to mean something? This disc was until the day of the murder in pawn on Mr. Winneback's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss G. Ellis Stroud, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may escape your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc.
Oh yes, resulting from the abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered with hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish that required this, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears a resemblance of the skirmish of the form of the smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious! Indeed it must.
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch inconsistent with a smear of blood on this disc. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you.
Well, what is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant?
Ora! Well, Mr. Graydon?
It would appear there had been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take this disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. This disc was mine from the outset. Is this some kind of taking an item that you own out of the pawn? What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish, though I am quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker murder. There's a note on this thing from McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen by me by the accused at Gilthy Gutley on the day of question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation to redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I have absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous Leonard Pilopoulos? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distantly messy murder?
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good lord, Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct.
Oda! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in the courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in the pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave his trust to deposit at Winnebags. It's funny how Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Winnebags in order to get his hand on McGilded's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you commence your cross-examination, please.
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. It was the very man. Apparently the police didn't collect anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilden as evidence.
Excuse me.
There's something wrong, Inspector. What do you mean? The last remark Mr. Graydon made about his testimony seems to trouble you in some way. No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilden's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yes, exactly. You should know all about that. Magnus McGilden, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life, yet he had a dark side too. Where are you going with these Reziks? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they? That's enough! Coppers let me have duties to carry out so we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties confined by Lord Strongheart, I presume? The Lord Chief Justice appeared to have great faith in you, Inspector. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here.
It will appear the inspector has revealed all he has liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord.
Objection.
This disc was deposited on Winnebags on Magnus McGilden's instructions. You knew that and you went there in intent on obtaining it for yourself.
Objection.
Conjecture again indicates that this was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to pay the pawnbroker again that night.
Objection.
Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilden had another article on pawn and Winnebags. At this second pawnbroker's ticket provides. Nah. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilden and Winnebags pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Sulkin brothers.
This is a second ticket, is it?
But what had the man deposit? The article description reads, 1 small box.
A rather vague description, it seemed to me.
Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some taken box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article has been forfeited, it could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to death. That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this graded fella needed a very small box that very night, isn't it?
Objection.
It's time to put this end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite inconceivable. On the night in question, no small box was taken to Winnebag's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What?
Good gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints of the court, if you please. Yes, sir. What prints? These prints are taken from one of the detective's security cameras. Ah, Hurley's red-handed recorders again. As previously explained using the plan of the shop layout. The victim establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was captured in the corner where Mr. Winnebag receives his customers.
and the other was sent to capture the shelves on which the articles was placed to sell once forfeited. According to information at this ticket, my gilded small bug has been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, 9 p.m. on 13th April to be precise, which means she could have been on one of the shelves of forfeited items on the shop front. Now, what do I have here is the print taken on one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on 15th April.
A picture certainly had a very full shop, it would seem.
And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare. Though I must say the placing between them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache.
Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we consider theft as one possible motive in this case. We explore the possibility that something has been taken in addition in the victim's life.
So you may already compare the 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector?
Yes, sir. We counted every single item on these 2 photographic prints. And your conclusion is that exactly the same number present as both. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbroker that night in question, and my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Ugh. I don't believe it. Fred has just shown that he stole McGillen's pawn box. I might not be able to break him down at last. You know what, Reno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these 2 photographs really are exactly the same. What?
So, counsel, on the line of evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems to the fact that under the question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be a hidden discrepancy in these 2 photographic prints somewhere? Before I get my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may.
Try something? What do you mean, counsel?
I need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy.
I'm not intending to follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify the discrepancy between the 2 prints?
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the 2 prints stereoscopically. Oh, yes, you caught the bug at last. You can't resist it, can you? You got the cross-eye compulsion. Juror number 3, what a surprise. Come on, Reno. Let's put these pictures in place and see what our wonderful contractions show us. There we go. Now look through the eyepiece. I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these 2 prints. What?
You must identify the location as questioned in the court, counsel.
Anyway, the precise location discrepancy which you may speak.
Take that!
Granted, these 2 prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. What? Now you view the 2 pictures stereoscopically. A single area stands as to being different, the location of this small box. Let me... Wait! Unbelievable!
By Jove, you're right! How extraordinary!
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGillet's small box was indeed not stolen from Winterbanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGillet is in fact
Yes, the very same small box that I identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guessworks. What if it was? So the box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means quite simply that nothing has changed.
That might be true, but
Alright, McGilden's box wasn't stolen then.
but does the fact that it was moved like that change things? I believe it changes everything about the case.
How can that possibly be?
The crucial point of the fact that what was moving was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting in the shelves at Winterbags as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to the man who died 2 months ago cannot possibly be relevant in this trial.
The court does not uphold your rejection, Lord Van Zeeks. Bailiff, arrange for the officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zeeks.
This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese specialty, it would seem.
What are you trying to say?
My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness' intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilden from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles are valuable enough to be worth stealing in the first place.
Exactly.
It would be beyond absurd to break into the place for the purpose of stealing such practiced property. If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilden perished 2 months ago, immediately up to the conclusion of this trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense.
An article says upstanding member of society upon were entirely ordinary.
A black overcoat just so happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box.
I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if a man tried to make a gift of such things to me.
You know, that doesn't make rather a lot of sense. It's not as if it was gold or jewels, is it? No, goodness, no, Mr. McGilden was rich enough.
But Captain Boss's cash with pawnbrokers is right short of it. The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling.
It is incumbent in the defense now to bolster his argument. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles upon this fine citizen could have.
Well, counsel, is your argument in effect demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the tissue of the box are not in tangible way related to the case?
Well,
What's the matter right now? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence.
Yes, of course, you and I both know that.
We know McGilda's true character, and we know that this is significant even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that at the court at this point, we ought to acknowledge that McGilda's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. That defense's argument is flawed based on false information. Oh no! And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury. But Jeannie... Could it be that Van Zeke knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything? But maybe... This could be a great opportunity for us. Sorry? What do you mean, Iris? Oh, what is it you always say, Bruno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time. Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilda deposited with Mr. Winnebank is something that only Gina and I can explain in the court. When I put her in a stand and testify about that, it could critically damage her chances of winning this case. What's the thing to do here? My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
Oh, what proposal, counsel?
Well, the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGill at small box. I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gia Lestrade, to this witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
It's to do with various articles deposited on Winnebanks by Mr. McGilden, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it will be beneficial to the court to hear what she has to say. It will provide the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you consider the implications of the testimony you're proposing, in particular the impact it would have to the accused's standing and indeed your own. I have.
Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to explain the last remark?
The prosecution accepted the defense proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear about the accused herself.
Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gia Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice.
And I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Mr. Lestrade testifies. As you wish. Alright then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here. Good luck for now. The articles that Mr. McGill deposited Winnebank's bomb brokery are intimately received with the omnibus, the trial that Wesley was heard of in the courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me at that trial as well.
That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say at least. And now here we all are again, the same players in that trial facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nippody's friend. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death by an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilden. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder was in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped from the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under the seat of the carriage, hoping to pick up pockets of unexpected passengers. Then, immediately after the trial happened being acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGill died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. as indeed does the omnibus murder itself.
Be that as it may, I recall neither of the tales of their small bond being mentioned in the course of these proceedings.
Miss Lestrade, would you tell us the court now, please? What really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all I want to know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important. But... Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willingly withheld information of the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you are little credibility to lose. Jeannie, don't listen to him! Please, you have to trust Bruno now! Iris? We're on your side! Alright then, I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears, so be it.
I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilda's pawn article is an extraordinary case of the omnibus, harbors secrets to which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, uncommonly sorely lacking in your original statements.
This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeke said. This could bring the whole courtroom down to my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take the risk. Truth is, that brickmaker Cole was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me on the seat, I saw the disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I had the screen over me head, and the pair of the roof deck was off to the slops. That's when McGilda slipped a driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing about knowing about what I've seen or heard.
Good grief, this is outrageous! What you just told the court bears no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord.
Then there's every chance I may have justly the error of McGilda's trial. It sounds very much to me that man deliberately deceived this court, and he afraid to cover up the most wicked of schemes.
Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in the courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused of that trial of this witness and my learned friend are entirely inexcusable. I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. That McGilda fellow was wrong to court, just like that pickpocket. Don't forget that lawyer of the East. They were all in it together. You're wrong, a lot of ya. Mr. Nariato, the lawyer, they didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug!
I don't think so. I really expected to believe that.
He really snitched everyone up. What an operation to get the man out scot-free.
Alpha, we will stop. The lies have to stop. Stop! Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to make full responsibility to suffer whatever consequences I deem appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilda's pawn articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you just plunged yourself into, this may be worth hearing.
Words failed me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Nutter,
Yes, my lord?
I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial.
Of course, my lord. Unbelievably, Mr. Narihoto.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Alright, let's do this.
Hold it!
You were hiding in the cabin the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, it's a storage compartment underneath one of the seats. Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't be seen off at all.
No, your testimony 2 months ago. I feel sorry that you claimed Mr. McGilden was the sole passenger, did you not?
False testimony, my lord.
That's what you told me I'd say. It's important to tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilden and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well, but I had to say. I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps witness dealings of some kind.
Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. It's starting to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by it, and I hardly had dare to breathe, and then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone kneeling over the floor. It was blooming loud at all.
I believe you let out an involuntary scream?
Yeah, that's what gave me away.
Hold it!
Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to a cove lying on the floor.
Could the disc have dragged? Could it belong to the victim, perhaps?
I don't know, but McGildy picked it up pretty smartish. And then decided to go with the knife and belly up in the sheet. What did he say to you at the time? He told me not to say a word about what I've seen or heard or no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he looking at me, I thought, if anything going on with it, I'll be stuck with that knife too. And he started asking a lot of questions. Like what my name was and where he lived and that, and he asked me about being a diver too. But after a while, what happened to the carriage that I noticed? Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise.
Hold it!
There were 2 gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. They must have looked out through the skylight and noticed the coat with a knife in the guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGilda got me out of sight.
Out of sight? Where?
Back under the sheet where I started off. Once the carriage came to a hole, the 2 coats from the roof ran off to fetch the slops.
If they immediately left to fetch the police, they would appear they are entirely unrelated to the incident.
So left McGilda, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the sheet. I heard a cabin door open and a voice from inside.
The driver, yes, he also testified in the trial, I believe.
A fellow who went in the name of Beppo, if memory serves. What did McGilda and the driver say to each other? I don't know what happened and stuff like that mainly. A pawn shop obviously being Winnebags on Baker Street.
Just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me the driver gave false testimony in the trial as well?
Perhaps the description of the pawnbroker slipped his mind when he was in the stand.
Indeed, Lord Menzies.
McGilda took up his gun and gave it to the driver. He folded up on carefully before handing it over. When I saw him to do that, I remember thinking, that coat's why I got to be worth a few bob. Yes, Jeannie was sure that this was worth more than Mr. Winnebag was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling over him over the price of the afternoon of the pawnbrokery. The driver looked pretty happy when McGilda flashed him his brass in his face. He went running like a lick. And a bogwater called me and told me to come out of the direct cabin.
Hold it!
Threaten you? How exactly? Told me I would be able to scarf her if I did exactly what he said.
Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said.
Which was?
He told me I have to hang on to the ticket of the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it.
The ticket? Well, I never.
Sure, Daddy, if you didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in the lug to stop it being forfeited. He let me with some brass to pay for it.
But really? Why on earth would Mr. McGilly would do such a thing? Deposit his overcoat with the pawnbroker before the arrival of the police? It makes no sense at all.
There will be the only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGildy had to drive a deposit at Winnebags was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide from all costs. Anyway, after that he let me go, so I legged it before the coppers show up. Well done, Gina. It can't be easy to tell the truth like that. Gina's really a piggy theory now. Yes, and to thank her, she'll have to face the charges of perjury once the trial's over. I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement. I suppose I should. Oh, and another thing. What's that? Take a look at this too. Isn't it strange that they've been whispering to each other the entire time? Yes, that is strange. It looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. I wonder if there's anything I can do about it. Yes, there's something I can do about it.
Excuse me.
Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Greedon? Inspector! Mr. Greedon! What? Blimey, you trying to give me a heart attack? You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what was the discussion about? Discussion? With this fella? Pull me out of my sunshine. You didn't have something to talk about with a shady jet like this? And I have nothing to say to this uncaught detective after you spanked me with that disc that was rightfully mine. But they've clearly been talking the entire time that's because examining Gina. As if they've been negotiating.
Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, counsel. We heard enough. I've heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired at the omnibus.
It would appear on that night 2 months ago a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilly took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. This disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Although I understand why as of yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGildy's color and his contents were due to be forfeited. I don't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the Cope died right after his trial, I knew that. So you decided we'll try to claim the articles of your own? Well, why not, eh? They were going to be forfeited, why should I have them? Anyway, I can't blame you for thinking about it. Thinking about it, no crime.
Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGildy was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it might be worth a fair bit of brass. He's probably going to sell it. And you don't blame me for thinking that? Thinking ain't no crime.
My lord! The evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready to court's inspection, sir.
The mystery little box deposited by McGildy 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece of this far-reaching puzzle. Oh boy. I'm going to end it here because this next part is really long. And this part is the final part Yep, this is going to be the final part of the Great Ace Attorney. But because of how long it is, I think we're going to end it here. And we're probably going to do this next stream. And it seems like there's nobody to raid, so we're just going to end it here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.